Well, hello my friends, welcome back to Ride on the Rock, welcome back to Ki-West for a little Tuesday evening sunset bike ride through the somewhat hidden back streets of our little island. So welcome everybody, hello Linda and Jim and Mike, and we have Sandy, hey Greggy, Linda. Did I say hi to Jim, Annie B, and we have Big Bear and Guess It Up, hey Richard, hello Peggy, hello Bob, hello June, and hello Chris, and hello Brian. Welcome back everybody. So we do have, hello Mick Mac, welcome back. We do have our usual Tuesday bike ride location tracking on, at least I hope. I'm pretty sure I switched it on so you can see where we are. And in case this area looks familiar to you, this is where we saw the kitty last time. That pretty much the oldest and roughest kitty I've ever seen in my life. So I did steal some of Evil Cat Nevil's Temptations, so I didn't tell our cat that I got some of those. I have them in my pocket, but so far I haven't seen her. But we are back on Elizabeth Street, corner of Petronia, and this time we are going to ride down Elizabeth Street, and there are a couple of small lanes I wanted to check out with you. However, a lot of those those little lanes, little streets are like little dead ends, so I think most of them will kind of just go in and go back out the same way. I think I've seen like 3 of them just on this street, so we're gonna go and check those out. So welcome back to the island, and also this stream is in 1080, so if you are watching on ATV, I would be curious to hear if you see any improvement over our usual 720 streams. So guys, here we go. Keep an eye out for the kitty. She was kind of laying here, right here on the corner last time, and she belonged to that house over here. And this is interesting because I swear there is a carpet on the street. We just rode over a carpet. This is her house. Her food's still outside, so she's probably sleeping somewhere. Oh, I like those eyelashes on that car. All right, so no kitty. I guess Evil Cat Neville doesn't have to share his treats. All right, okay. I bet he's happy about that. It is pretty windy on the island. Just so you're aware, I did wrap a lot of stuff around my mic, so I hope you're going to be okay with the sound. So first little lane here is Baker's Lane. As I said earlier, none of these lanes here on Elizabeth Street are through lanes, so we basically have to backtrack. So definitely hidden here, just off Elizabeth Street. This is Baker's Lane. It's not Biker's Lane, we're biking through Baker's Lane. And back onto Elizabeth. Thank you, Bob, for the super chat. Thank you so much. I see our bot is not really responsive here. So we are crossing Southern Street here. You can see the sun is already pretty low. Not a lot of clouds, so hopefully we're gonna have some nice colors tonight. Of course, we will be headed over to Truman waterfront, because it's so easily accessible by bike. I love this house here. White, gray, and pink. Ooh, there's another kitty. I love the decorations. The white flamingo house. And there are some really cool old houses here. I just saw somebody ask what I am riding on. So I am riding on a trike because I figured a regular bike is going to be a little bit difficult with the camera and everything. So this is I have a trike, which is pretty convenient, way more stable than a bike. And this way I get my weekly exercise. So Gabe is not playing on Tuesday, so it's kind of our day off. And of course it is also Taco Tuesday and Tequila Tuesday, and so we figured we'll make it a Trike Tuesday. So we're crossing Fleming Street here. Is another tiny lane somewhere around here. I'm not sure that is a lane. It says Russell Lane. This one isn't even on my map. Okay, let's try this. If it's got a name, it's not private property, right guys? So we can come and check it out. So here's Little Russell Lane. And of course it ends right here. So that is why it's not on the map. It's like the shortest lane ever. Russell Lane, okay. So interestingly enough, this is marked as a lane on my map, on my Google Maps, but it isn't a lane. So that's interesting because the previous one wasn't on the map and it had a name. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Disappearing lane. We are crossing Eaton Street right here.
Ki-Uwest fine line.
So this one is marked as a lane, and this is called Donkey Milk Lane. So there also is a museum here, but I think the main entrance is on Eaton Street. The Donkey Milk House Museum or something from 1866, and I think they left the house the way it was back then. Although it is a private residence, so you might have to look that up. But that is what you find when you look up Donkey Milk Lane, because I was kind of curious where the name came from. The same, this little lane here, dead ends. There is another lane right next to it here called Higgs Lane. So that one looks a little bit more accessible. Again, it dead ends here. So a little Higgs Lane here. And I see our location tracking. Instead of putting up the whole path, it just tells us where we currently are. So you'll have to bear with that. I'm not sure why it doesn't do the whole, normally it's supposed to give you the whole track, but this is where we currently are here. Just off Elizabeth on Little Higgs Lane. Like that mango tree wants a little more space. So we're currently riding down Caroline Street towards Duval Street, and then from there we're going to go on to the Truman waterfront. We're one block from Duval. This is Simonton Street. know what? I've never noticed this house here. All the vegetation around it. It's right across from the Curry Mansion. Of course, you're familiar with the Curry Mansion. No Christmas decorations just yet, but these guys are always like top-notch decorations. Whether it's Fantasy Fest or Halloween, like a Ki-Uwest bed and breakfast with a lot of history. And here we are, corner of Caroline and Duval Street at the Bull. Of course, upstairs we have the Garden of Eden. Very Ki-Westy shop here. Outdoor bar, live music, and the chicken running around. All in one frame. So what goes down up in the Garden of Eden? Well, what definitely comes off are the clothes. So the Garden of Eden is like a clothing optional bar. So if you're not prepared for that, you literally walk in there and then nobody else is wearing clothes. So I'm not gonna say any more, otherwise I will have to put this stream on a 18 plus again. So that gives you an idea. So it's a rooftop bar. So you can look it up. It's called Garden of Eden. It's got a separate entrance from the Bull though, so it's not like you can mistakenly end up in that bar. But some people do, and then they kind of end up being really surprised. So we follow the conch train. We're on Whitehead Street. And we'll be headed over to the southern entrance of the Truman Annex in Truman Waterfront Park. There are several other entrances, but a lot of them are locked and just for the residents, so that is the one that is easiest to access. Thank you so much, Linda Hunka for the super chat. I guess less than 48 hours until you guys get here, right? So I bet you're packing. Beautiful banyan trees over here at the Banyan Resort. riding by the mile marker 0 here. Actually, we are on the beginning of Highway 1 side here, riding towards Truman Waterfront. If we were coming from the other side, we would be riding past the end of Highway 1. Of course, the end is just right across the street where these guys are taking pictures. So over there is the end, the very end of Highway 1. And we'll turn here onto Southern at the Green Parrot. By the way, guys, if this is your first time with us, we are a local live streaming channel, so welcome to Ki-West. Pretty much everything we do is streamed live. We do bike rides like these, sunset walks around Old Town and the Mallory Square sunset celebration. We have live music streams from the bars, and we'll have a special this Friday for the Conch Republic Independence Day. At noon, at the crack of noon, is going to be the, how do you call it, flag raising of the Conch Republic. So we'll be streaming, we'll have an extra stream this Friday at noon. Of course, we'll still have our TGIF sunset walk on Friday evening, sunset time. But of course, before that, we will be back at Captain Tony's tomorrow evening. So if you're into live music, join us at the bar. Make song requests just by putting your favorite songs in the comments tomorrow, and we'll see if Gabe can get around to playing those. Or make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. That way you know when we're live. As I said, we will have some added streams this week. Here we are at the Truman Waterfront. Our Coast Guard ship here. Nice backdrop for the sunset. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, Chris, for the super chat. And thank you so much, Gas It Up. We really appreciate it. So guys, official sunset time is exactly now. I hope the mic picked that up. Here's our museum ship, the Ingham. On Friday evenings there is a bar on the after deck. But I think you can visit the ship pretty much any day. They just did some restoration to it. Thank you so much, Clark, for the super chat. Thank you, very, very much appreciated here. So fingers crossed for some colors here, a little bit of an afterglow. And yes, John, you guys definitely need some background music. It is really quiet here. Of course, we can't really play any background music due to copyright issues. So cover songs are fine, but if you use the actual music, YouTube flags you. So this way everybody can listen to their own favorite music while watching these streams. Have your favorite drink. I used to bring my mojito here doing the bike rides, but we kind of have started this tradition of doing the Taco Tuesday and margaritas, so I'm bringing water for my bike rides. So cheers guys, here's to another beautiful evening. So all this here, this space used to be part of the Navy before the city of Ki-West rebuilt all this, and then you have now a residential area here, and then this big park here. And this used to be the submarine harbor, but it is not deep enough for like the latest and greatest submarines, so there hasn't been a submarine here for quite a while. They still use this space for maneuvers and trainings. But those submarines. So this is a very quiet area where you can come and watch the sunset if you're in Ki-West and you don't want to be in crowds. It's easily accessible by bike. You can also walk. And it's probably pretty much what Mallory Square used to be like back in the days. So really quiet. People come here and fish. Some come here and play music. So you can alternate between a busy sunset celebration over on Mallory and then come here for a quiet one. You can also go to Fort Zack. That's another nice location. However, they do close right at sunset, so you will have to leave right after sunset, so you might miss any nice afterglow. But that's another spot. And of course in winter, when the sun turns, there are some additional spots on the island where you can see the sunset, which we will cover soon. So actually today this is pretty busy compared to our previous streams here at the Truman waterfront. So for this area, this is a busy night. You also have tons of space to sit down and enjoy the sunset. You don't have to stand around. And chances are that you will be with a whole bunch of locals. Again, they come here and fish. They bring their drinks. There are some boats out, although it is quite breezy. You can see the sunset cruisers come in here as well. But this area does not connect towards Mallory Square. So if you would go, well, we're going to go all the way to the end, but it does not connect. And then on the other side, you would have the Margaritaville Resort. So the Truman Waterfront Park ends right here. And then over there you have the Margaritaville Resort, and then after that you would have Mallory Square behind that white building over there. So unfortunately it does not connect, which is why it is so quiet here. So you have to know how to get here, and it has to be via the Truman Annex. So Deb is asking, trolley driver told her to watch the sunrise at the pier. That does sound right. So the sunset is on this side of the island, and I'm pretty sure he was referring to White Street Pier. I think you can see the sunrise pretty much from White Street Pier, as well as Hicks Beach Pier. However, that one is much smaller, and actually I think the White Street Pier would be in the way. So I would imagine he was referring to White Street Pier, which is pretty much at the opposite end of where we currently are. Ooh, thank you so much, Jim, for the treats for Evil Cat and Evil. I'm sure he will very much appreciate that. He sure loves his treats. So Deb, let me show you. We are currently here. So the sunset is on this side, so the sunrise would be over here, and your driver is probably referring to, so you see you have like two piers on this side. You have the small one on Hicks Beach, and then you have the big one that we refer to as the White Street Pier, but the official name is the Edward B. Knight Pier. So there we go for the alert. Thanks again, Jim. Our bot is has a slight delay until he gets the information. I was trying to set up a little cat alert, but somehow it didn't work. So I settled for the clouds. I always like that alert for the sunsets because we have the clouds here. Well, anyways, I do have a cat alert, but it didn't work. So yes, Deb, this is the pier that your driver was probably referring to. This one here. It's the one that goes the furthest out, so that's the one where you have the best view. You can go to Hicks Beach, but that one, actually, the big pier would kind of block the view, so that's definitely the one. So yes, that does sound right. Go to the pier for sunrise. That is the one stream you are not going to see from us. That is a sunrise stream. We can do sunsets anytime. There's another plane coming in. It's busier up in the air tonight than it is on the water. Another small one. The previous one was a seaplane, so this one was a regular one. I wonder if they do sunsets over at the fort on the Dry Tortugas, because that's where you go by seaplane. So I figured there might be some kind of sunset excursion over there, much faster than by ferry. And another plane. That looks like another seaplane. Let me see if I can zoom in onto this one a little bit better than the previous one. Ooh, not easy zooming in that far. Yes, indeed, the Duval Street has two different oceans on either end, and we have a couple of streams where we actually ride from the Atlantic to the Gulf of Mexico. You can actually do it in one stream. Go from one ocean to the other. So my question is always, okay, so roughly one side is the Atlantic Ocean, the other one is the Gulf. But does that mean that where's the separation line? Would that be around Fort Zach, I guess, right? That would be kind of where the one ends and the other one starts. Thank you, Deb, for the super chat. I promise I'll work on my cat alert. Now we're getting some pretty colors here. So guys, you're bringing up a really interesting point. I have no idea why it puts addresses on that map. And I just went back to check, and the best thing is I'm actually logged in under Gabe's account. So that's even more confusing. I have no idea where this comes from. I have no idea why I'm logged in under Gabe's account on my phone. It's those little technology miracles that happen. So I guess I have to revise my Google map, whatever, or however. I didn't even know I was signed in on any account in there, so that's kind of interesting. Now I have to check if it gives any other addresses if I log in on another Gmail account. There we go, interesting. Okay. Well guys, it's been a beautiful night. Gonna leave you here with the Afterglow. And again, we will be back tomorrow with another stream from Captain Tony's Saloon. And then back on Friday with 2 streams with the raising of the colors at noon for the Conch Republic Independence Days. Conch Republic Independence Celebration. 38.5 years.
Water Revenue Service. He found it. It wasn't called the Coast Guard until later on.
And then we'll have the TGIF Sunset Walk on Friday night in Old Town. We'll go and check out what's going on Duval Street and go over to the Mallory Square Sunset Celebration. So we had a really quiet and laid back sunset tonight. Friday might not be so laid back. There are definitely going to be more people. And then again back at Captain Tony's on Saturday. And guys, do be on the lookout for another 360 video. And we will also be giving away one of those VR cardboard headsets in one of our next streams in our Sunday porch session. Well, of course, before that, I totally forgot. Of course, on Thursday, we are going to have our Thanksgiving special. A little 1 hour, well, maybe a little bit longer than that, music stream from the porch so we can celebrate Thanksgiving with you guys. Stay tuned for the exact starting time. We are aiming for either 4:30 or 5 p.m. on Thursday for the Thanksgiving special. So Captain Tony's tomorrow, Thanksgiving special on Thursday, Conch Republic Independence Days at noon on Friday, and a TGIF Sunset Walk on Friday night in Old Town and back at Captain Tony's on Saturday, and back on the porch on Sunday, and maybe a little 360 video upload in between so you can enjoy almost as if being in Ki-West. And we'll give you more updates on those VR headsets soon. We just got ours and they like $8 or $9 somewhere online, and then you just pop your phone in there and then you can move your head as if you're there. It's kind of really weird, makes me dizzy quite a bit, but it's fun. So guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. Thank you so much for joining me in Ki-West here. I see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. Enjoy your Tuesday night. And we will be back tomorrow with more from Ki-West. Stay safe, everybody. Take care and have a great night. Bye, guys.